Well, I switched now to a combo joint of everything here on the table, so we'll see what that does to me next. But as you remember, my good buddy Bob High, the science guy, still around. Now, we shot some of this some time ago. I can't remember what's on the tape, so we'll see what he has to say. Here's Bob.
Moroccans typically make their hash by screening their hash through muslin. The muslin, oddly enough, comes out to about 110 mesh, which is the same way as screened hash here in North America is made. This is just pressed better. And that will come in at about 20-25% THC levels. The reason why? The harvesting method. When you get into the Middle Eastern countries, Persia, you'll find that their black Afghani hash, say, or Iranian hash, is probably about 30 to 35% tops THC, because it's a water refining through gauze, and it's a much highly refined method, right? So that it's a little bit stronger, the end product. A little more
other hash makers now.
But that will never surpass. As much as they try to refine that with their methods, it will never surpass that 30% because of the percentage of trichomes that deliver THC level are only one of 3 to 4. All right? So it can never surpass that. You start getting into issues where, yes, bubble hash will go to 40-50%, and the people that make bubble bags aren't lying. And the reason why is refined one step further. The microfilters that the Afghanis don't have access to, bear in mind they're using gauze, right? They don't have access to it, but if they did, the quality of their hash would go way up too, and it would look like bubble hash in the end.
So in reality, when we're smoking this joint, we're letting it go out. We're letting it go out. What we're really doing is smoking a combination of the trichomes that existed on this plant on that day that they took down. Yeah, it is a combination of those things that will give me the flavor. It'll give me the.
That's what makes grapefruit and blueberry and durban and all those different varieties. Those little nuances and those little percentage changes.
So then that would seem to me to give us, now that we seem to be able to isolate the different ones from each other, that would give us some range of possibility, not necessarily always looking for the most THC. Somebody might prefer a little bit of THC and a whole bunch of flavor.
Exactly. This is why when you get strains like White Widow, the whole line, White Rhino, White Russian, all those white guys, and they're all basically a hash plant itself, the stepping stone variety for all those. The hash plant is primarily a good resin producer. This is why they call it hash plant, because of it makes a lot of resin, period. And when you're producing hash, resin is volume. Okay? Yeah. So this is why it's desirable to hash making people. Other varieties are not. They're too dry. They might be high in THC levels, but very dry. So someone that would be making hash, right?
Here's something I've always wondered about. Why is it that the people who live in the hash-making regions of the world, most people are not so apt to smoke the leaf, where the people who live in the sativa-producing regions of the world rarely ever make hashish and only smoke the leaf? Why do you think that is?
Because sativas, generally speaking, are not good resin producers. They are good THC producers. Some of the highest THC levels in the world come out of Southeast Asian sativas. Right. No doubt about it. They are the mother lode of THC producers, but they have very bad qualities to the grower. They have a 90 to 110-day flower. For example, they're very poor yielders and dry. There's hardly any resin on them. You don't usually find them sticky. But the THC levels, wow, 18, 20%. Some claim 22% if you look at Cali Mist or something like that, which is a sativa.
And what do you think the difference is? Why is that? That they indicate plant as we know it, or what they call an indica, why is it so different than the sativa?
They're two different species.
Well, I do understand that, but what physically is making it different here? Like the trichomes, are they different? Or is it
The percentages are different. Well, of course, the very few bulbous trichomes on sativas. This is why they're not sticky. This is why they're not good resin producers, because that particular trichome is in a smaller percentage than the others. It's just like they produce more terpenes. This is why those varieties are extremely smelly, right?
It's got to be a subspecies of the sativa, you'd think. The Afghani and the Nepalese and everything that's flooded down around the Mediterranean, isn't it?
Yep.
Wouldn't it have all kind of come from the origins of a sativa?
No, not necessarily. If you look at the difference, all right, in the seeds. Let's get to seeds. You're looking at getting Hindu Kush or Afghani 1. The only difference between those two plants may be a mountain range. It might be 50 miles as the crow flies.
Yeah.
But because of the mountains and the isolation, the pollen can't survive going over the mountain. It would most certainly freeze or die on the dry rocks. So it isolated these two mountain valleys, and you have two different genotypes that have developed slightly different to suit their environments.
And, like, totally different than the sativa. Totally different.
Totally different, yes. Even the germination rates in the seeds are different. Sativa seeds take a long time to germinate, sometimes as long as 7-8 days. Indica seeds, boy, you pop them in the water, 2-3 days later, they're cracked and going for it. Here's why. The more temperate plants, which indica is a more temperate plant, they have a very limited time to do business. I don't have all year to take care of this crap, and I only get one rainfall a year. We're talking Afghanistan here. It looks like a goddamn moon.
Yeah.
And this is where this plant thrives. And the reason why is because of snapping. I get that one good thunder shower, my seed germinates in the 3 days when the soil is still moist from that thunder shower, and I start going down. That's how I survive. The sativa, on the other hand, the sativa is in more of a monsoon situation where it's dry and hot all year round except for that 1 month a year. But I have to make sure that it's not a fake rain. So I want it rainy. I want it soaking wet for at least a week before I take off, because I know the monsoon season is here for sure if it's raining for a week. This is how the plant's survival mechanism has evolved.
Hey, welcome back. Well, I gotta say that I'm thrilled to be here once again with you all, and too bad you couldn't be here smoking this fine pot with me, but gotta say I'm having a lot of fun working with Pot TV and cannabis culture and the BC Marijuana Party, and I'm happy to be sent all over the world to smoke the good stuff, as the boss said. Smoke the new stuff, I think is what he actually said, but I went the distance and smoked the good stuff. But it was fun this time in Amsterdam. It was the very first time that I've ever been recognized as Marijuana Man when I was out there. And there was at least one fellow came up to me at the Milky Way and gave me a bud. He was from the UK, and there was something called the Cheese. Horrible name for marijuana, but it was aptly named because it had a cheesy kind of smell and taste. You know, that pungent, skunky, cheesy thing. Just want to say thanks to him. And another occasion going home one night, I had accommodation that was located just above the Blue Velvet Coffee Shop, which made the place smell like hash, which was nice. But it was located on a street called the Nieuwendyk, which is a busy shopping street during the day, but at night it's all shuttered up in something like a tunnel. And quite often there'd be nobody on the street but me, but this was the same occasion that evening, and around the corner comes a guy, and instead of walking past me, he walked right up to me and stuck out his hand, and he said, "Marijuana Man, just wanted to shake your hand," and then walked away into the night. So that was pretty nice. Appreciated that. I appreciate all you people who have ever tuned into the show, and there's been a lot of you, as it turns out. Been looking at the numbers here recently, and the Grow Show and related shows to the Marijuana Man. We're garnering about 15 to 20% of all the viewership here on Pot TV. So that's some sizable numbers, about 1,200,000 views or something like that. So, as can happen around here, when you mention stuff like that to Mark, he said, let's have a contest. So we're going to have a contest. And it's an easy one. And a good one, too, I think. So here's what we want you to do. You just send us a bud. Simple as that. Send us a bud. And we're going to smoke all of the buds that are sent to us, and we're going to pick 3 winners. You don't have to have grown the bud. Just send us the bud. It's not like we need it, so it's not a shameful cry for free pot. But there's a good and honest, true contest. So here's what's going to happen. On May 15th, Mark and I are going to sit down and smoke these joints. We're going to turn on a camera, and we will smoke them, and he and I are going to pick our favorite 3. And the first prize winner is going to receive an all-expense-paid trip to the Toker's Bowl. We'll pay for your flight no matter where you come from, anywhere in the world. Second place is going to get tickets and hotel kind of deal for the Toker's Bowl. 1 ticket and hotel. And third place will get a ticket to the Toker's Bowl. And all you got to do is send us a bud. Couldn't be simpler than that. Now here you're going to have to do something tricky though. Now you're going to have to send something that identifies your bud from anybody else's. And some code that you're going to have to repeat to us so that you can identify that. So, and then we'll go from there. But where are you going to send it? You're going to send it to this address. Don't drive alone. Don't gas now. Don't drive alone. Drive too fast. So it could be easier than that. So start sending those buds as soon as you can get to a post box tomorrow. You send them however you send them, and they get here, they get here. Won't be able to tell you if they did, but we're going to sit down and smoke every one of them, so you'll know when yours comes up. Enter as often as you'd like. You can send more than that bud. That'll impress us, and maybe it'll give us a chance to share with the other people that work here. So that's going to be fun. Look for that in the coming months, and good luck. Send us some good weed. That's what we're looking for. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Thanks to everybody who was on the show this week. I make this all myself, so no one to thank there except you for tuning in. Get some of the Dr. Atomic stuff. You will really love it, because I'm loving it here. Thanks for watching. Peace and pot. See you next time.